New footage shows the tense moments of the Louisville bank shooting that occurred Monday.
And NPR is giving Twitter the silent treatment. We'll explain why.
Do you want to be a millionaire? Find out how you can win $65 million coming up.
From the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Mauricio Ortiz-Segura.
And I'm Nomi Sanchez. Students, faculty, and staff at Timberview High School in Mansfield are safe tonight after a loaded gun was discovered in the backpack of one student. Authorities say that student is facing criminal charges, but no details about the teenager have been released. According to school officials, a parent alerted the district to the situation, and a letter was sent home to parents saying there would be increased campus security and counselors would be available to talk with students. No other information is being released at this time.
While that issue was resolved without injury, the city of Louisville is still reeling from Monday's mass shooting at a local bank. It left 5 dead and 4 others in the hospital. Today, new body camera footage was released, showing the moments when the first officers arrived on the scene. Adrian Broadus has the story.
Stop right here.
Gunfire rings out almost immediately as police pull up to the mass shooting at Old National Bank on Monday morning. Louisville PD releasing body camera footage worn by the 2 officers shot while responding to the attack.
We're making entry from the east side.
Footage shows for rookie officer Nicholas Wilt, the encounter lasts seconds. He runs up the steps to the bank and is shot in the head. Wilt's field training officer Corey Galloway was also hit, and body camera footage shows that he falls, then moves down the steps, concealing himself behind a planter box.
God damn it! The shooter has an angle on that officer. We need to get up there. I don't know where he's at. The glass is blocking him.
Moments later, more gunfire.
I think I got him down. I think he's down. Suspect down. Get the officer.
The gunman is dead, killed by police 3 minutes after they arrived.
It feels like eternity to watch. You can only imagine how it felt for them. For people to react by staying there, staying in the fire, and going back inside the scene, keeping themselves in danger, that's superhuman.
Photos show the gunman, a 25-year-old bank employee, inside a hallway. Police say the images were snapped just moments after he finished shooting co-workers on the ground floor.
He then went to the front lobby and set up an ambush and waited for officers to respond.
At one point, a police dispatcher warns responding officers they were heading to the scene of a targeted attack.
He's texted a friend, called a friend, left a voicemail. He's going to kill everyone at the bank, feeling suicidal.
Louisville is the latest community coping with the horror of gun violence.
Authorities reported today that 1 more person has now been released from the hospital.
And in North Texas, temperatures have been pretty steady with some nice hitting the area, don't you think, Mauricio?
I think so, and it's about that time of the season when everything's just starting to look a little bit greener, so I'm a little thankful for that sun. But why don't we go to our weather anchor, Caleb Bumpus, for our first look at today and tomorrow's weather.
That's right. Luckily, we have been seeing things get much greener here in North Texas. Right now, it is a nice 77 degrees Fahrenheit with wind speeds at 11 miles per hour and clear, sunny skies. Tonight, we're going to continue to see clear skies, temperatures dropping down to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and wind speeds are going to slow down to 8 miles per hour. Now, tomorrow, it's going to heat up a little bit to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind speeds are going to pick back up to 11 miles per hour, and we are going to continue to see those sunny skies, so we're going to get to enjoy that. That's all I have for right now. Stick around for this week's full weather.
Thanks, Kayla. The Texas legislature, both the House and the Senate, has been signing off on a large number of bills that will have an impact across the state of Texas. It is important to note that these bills have only been passed by one side of the Texas legislature and are still under consideration. Now, let's first take a look at House Bill 249. This was passed on the House on Tuesday. It would allow school districts in rural counties with a population of under 200,000 to hire discharged veterans and qualified police officers on their school campuses with training. This includes counties with higher populations such as Denton, which Denton has a larger number of rural communities. These armed security volunteers would be protected from liability unless of severe negligence and would cooperate with other security programs. However, questions still remain in the legislature about how this training will be enforced and the possible risks of this bill. And now on the other side of the legislature, Senate Bill 16, also known as the critical race theory bill, has been passed this morning in the Senate. We hear a lot about this theory, but what does it actually mean? Well, critical race theory is a social movement around the premise that race is not a biological feature based on physicality rather than a social construct. This new Texas bill would allow universities and colleges to fire a professor if they attempt to compel students to believe that one social group or belief is superior to the other. This bill is an extension of last year's session of critical race theory, where the topic was banned in kindergarten through 12th grade public schools. The bill was created to provide an environment of intellectual inquiry and diversity. However, some are concerned that education and social issues will be silenced. And now, if you ever got confused on when to set your clocks back, we Texans might not be lost in time anymore. The House has passed a bill to stick with daylight savings time permanently with overwhelming support. If approved by Congress, Texas would join 19 states that have already enacted year-round observation of daylight savings. However, there is a catch. Federal law does not allow states to observe daylight savings permanently. That means that this bill would not go into effect unless Congress enacts a law granting states to authorize the observation of daylight savings. Time and all time, you can find more on these bills in capital.texas.gov. Back to you, Mauricio.
Thanks, Noemi. Well, it's a great time to have a party, and this weekend, UNT is holding a very unusual one, with the guests of honor being all the stars under the night sky. This is an opportunity to travel across space through the lens of a telescope. Our own Chris Cordova tells us more.
Thanks, Maurizio. If you're looking for a stellar experience this weekend, you might want to check out the UNT Star Party this Saturday. The event is held on the first and third Saturday of every month at the Rafe's Urban Astronomy Center and Sky Theater. Guests will learn about the constellations and get the chance to operate 3 types of telescopes. If you're interested in leading a star party, you don't need to be a graduate student. All you need is the knowledge and passion of astronomy to get involved. General admission is $5 per person or $10 per person for private parties. For more information about star parties, you can visit astronomy.unt.edu. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Chris. Now, misleading information leads to NPR breaking up with Twitter.
And you might be missing a carton of milk on your table for the next few weeks, as there's suddenly 18,000 less cows in the U.S. Stay tuned to find out what happened.
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good.
They exploded.
No registration, no entry.
There's an explosion.
Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
I'm here to rescue you.
Oh, my prince.
No so fast.
This story is going to be awesome.
National Public Radio, aka NPR, will no longer be active on Twitter. NPR has claimed they are the first major news organization to go silent on the platform. Last week, Twitter labeled the broadcaster as state-affiliated media. That term is usually placed on foreign propaganda outlets such as those from Russia or China. NPR is a non-profit media organization that is publicly funded by listeners. Over the weekend, Twitter revised NPR's label to government-funded media. NPR has yet to return to the social media platform. This comes as Elon Musk said that since his takeover of Twitter, he's laid over more than 6,000 people, 80% of Twitter's staff. Now Twitter employs only 1,500 employees. And e-cigarette company Juul Labs has reached a $462 million settlement with 6 states in the U.S. after the company was accused of contributing to the rise in the youth vaping. The lawsuits claim Juul products to not have enough security against purchases by children under 21. They also advocate for adults under 35 to not be featured in advertisements in order to indirectly target youth. The plaintiffs believe the decision to be of great benefit towards the accountability of companies taking advantage of young consumers.
Now buckle up, the American car industry is changing once again. Strict tailpipe standards, if approved, will see new passenger cars go electric within the next decade. Gloria Pismino has a story.
The Biden administration is betting big on electric.
We're driving towards a clean energy future.
On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emission standards that could require electric vehicles to account for up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032.
We're starting to see all of the auto industry move in this direction.
Transportation is the biggest source of greenhouse pollution in the U.S., with light-duty vehicles accounting for 58% of those emissions. EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the goal is not only to tackle the climate crisis, but to bolster the economy long term.
This is a really exciting proposal that codifies the president's vision for an electric future that wins the day in manufacturing and jobs as well.
The rules are intended to push the auto industry toward electrification and increase supply.
We see that consumers are really responsive to EVs when they get their hands on them.
Still, not everyone is ready to buy in. 41% of Americans polled by Gallup last month said they would not buy an electric vehicle. But the White House hopes tax incentives like a credit up to $7,500 for new EV purchases will help drive Americans to electrify.
We're going to save consumers money. This is a huge opportunity for everyone in this country.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
If approved, the emission standards would apply beginning with cars that have a model of year 2027.
Are you feeling lucky? Well, if you're going to be buying some lottery tickets this week, we have some tips on what to do if you happen to be that 1 in a million. Our live shot reporter Talea Munson has more.
Thanks, Mauricio. Well, while the show was getting started, I decided to try my luck on getting a winning lottery ticket, but unfortunately, I won't know until later tonight if I'm a millionaire or not. But in case I do win, I gathered a few tips from the Texas Lottery officials on what to do with my winnings after celebrating, of course. First things first. If you ever end up winning a ticket, sign the ticket and put it in a safe space. Then you want to seek financial and legal advice. Most importantly, call the Texas Lottery to schedule an appointment to claim your prize. If there are no winnings tonight, the prize for Saturday will be close to $66 million. Now the jackpot is the 3rd largest in North America, and the prize remains up for grabs. Officials advise players to check their tickets after every drawing in case they want any other available cash prizes. Now the drawing tonight will be at 10, but if you don't win, you can go get some scratch-offs like I did. And lastly, don't forget to double check, triple check, and even quadruple check your tickets. That's all I have for you. Good luck, and back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Talea. Now, the chances of winning the lottery are quite slim, so I'll consider it a win if we can get out of the rest of the week with some nice weather.
Now, I mean, the current weather trends have been pretty nice, but you really never know. We could get some unexpected rain at any time. So let's go with our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, for that full report. Kayla?
Well, Mauricio, if you like the sun, then this is your lucky week. Let's take a look. Right now in Denton, it is 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a little bit warmer than we've been seeing in the past. Over in Bowie, it is a nice 75 degrees, and in Graham, Texas, it is 79. Across the state, we're seeing similar temperatures, a little bit warmer, some medians. In Austin, Texas, it is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. In Abilene, it is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And over in Amarillo, it's much warmer at 86. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. Starting off the week strong with lots of sun. Thursday, we are going to have clear skies, a high of 80 and a low of 59. Friday, we're going to see partly cloudy, a high of 80 and a low of 61. Saturday, we're going to continue the sun for the whole weekend, a high of 77 and a low of 49. Sunday, having a little bit cooler, a high of 74 and a low of 49. Monday, a high of 79 and a low of 57. Tuesday, we are going to start to see some rain and clouds, a high of 77 and a low of 60. And Wednesday, those clouds are going to linger with a high of 83 and a low of 63. That's all I have for now. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. A dairy farm in West Texas exploded yesterday, claiming the lives of over 18,000 dairy cows and injuring one person. Reporter Saidi Batzlaff has more on this tragic story.
According to the witnesses, there was an explosion and then it spread into a fire. The magnitude of the fire and the amount of people that were here, we're very fortunate that it was less than what we had, just at least one injured.
Smoke remains visible from an explosion on Monday evening that spread through the building and into holding pens that had dairy cows. First responders from multiple fire and law enforcement agencies were able to get the fire under control and rescue one employee who had become trapped inside. Castro County Sheriff Sal Rivera says the South Fork Dairy is less than a year old and there have been no previous reports of fires at the dairy. The industry is growing in the Texas Panhandle as new dairies are currently under construction. The owner of Mission Dairy in Des Smith County says the development of a detailed business plan and a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are critical to your success.
The first thing you have to do is get a permit. You have to be able to show that you're going to be sustainable as far as nutrients and things like that that are coming off of your dairy. Certainly you have to have the capital and the financing to be able to build a dairy. And then third thing would be is to put your team together and manage.
While milk might be hard to find in the coming weeks, there'll still be plenty of dairy treats to enjoy. Coming up, a reason to celebrate cheese.
And while you're celebrating, learn how to find inner peace through art when we come back.
Did you know you have access to video equipment like DVDs, video games, and cameras? That's right, you do. Come on down to Chilton Library and fulfill your media dream. Located on the bottom floor next to the student sculpture. Hope to see you there soon. Hey girl, you know you look good. I like the way you move and groove.
I'm not sure. Has the weight of stress and anxiety ever felt too heavy to overcome? Wish there was a safe place to confide in? Wish granted. At UNT, we offer counseling and testing services to students located on the 3rd floor of Chestnut Hall. UNT, we're here for you.
This week, students from the Collegiate Recovery Program will show their path to healing from addiction through art. We have Camille Perrine at the scene. Camille, tell us more.
Hi, Nomi. Here in the UNT Union Art Gallery sits Little by Little, an exhibition of recovery and hope, an art exhibit for students recovering from drug abuse. The Collegiate Recovery Program is hosting the exhibition for students during Recovery Week to express their experiences through their art. Collaborating with Recovery Intervention Support and Education, or RISE, the CRP Gallery gives students the opportunity to visualize their healing process and how substance abuse has impacted their lives. The gallery will be here at anyone's leisure from April 10th through April 14th. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Camille. And you know, Noemi, I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I skipped lunch today, and I've just been really hungry for a while now. And any chance you know someplace I could grab a bite to eat before I turn into a skeleton?
Well, you definitely have to eat. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
We need to change that. But although I don't have a place for you, I know someone who does.
Ooh.
Our Good Eats anchor, Chris Goodwin, has definitely a delightfully cheesy place he can tell us about. What do you have for us, Chris?
An American classic that requires just 3 ingredients, butter, bread, and cheese, has its own holiday. Every year on April 12th marks the holiday where the best way to celebrate is to take to the stove and put your own twist on the delicacy. National Grilled Cheese Day is a fairly new holiday beginning from the 1990s, but the modern iteration of the grilled cheese has been around since the 1920s. Nobody truly knows when this comfort meal was created. There are rumors that recipes involving cheese and bread have been around since the Roman Empire. Matter of fact, grilled cheese has even been called grilled cheese until the 1960s. It used to be known as toasted cheese and looked quite different, with recipes calling for ingredients using an oven, with others saying to broil it. The invention of sliced bread in 1928 and Kraft Foods introducing the single sliced cheese in 1949 all contributed to making this dish what it is now. Grilled cheese sandwiches have many different variations. Mine usually include lobster, but ingredients such as bacon, tomatoes, and avocado are a few that can elevate your sandwich. A secret hack I learned is to use mayo on the outside pieces of toast for a perfect golden brown glaze layered with provolone, ghost pepper cheddar cheese, and the classic American. I can tell your mouths are watering at the desk hearing that. You know, Mauricio, maybe the best place to eat is at your house. It will help you save money. That's all I have for Dinner Eats. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. I'll definitely use those tips to save a little bit of money, but in the meantime...
Mauricio, what are you doing?
Well, you know, I'm practicing my form. I heard the UNT tennis team is pretty good, so I wanted this to be out here, you know, as sort of like a highlight reel.
Yeah, you know, well, with that form, I think we'd call it more of a low light, but, you know, keep on practicing it, I'm sure. We'll get there. But I'm sure our sports anchor, Jasmine Grace, can tell us more about that UNT tennis team. What do you have for us, Jasmine?
Yeah, guys, after the break, I'll talk to everyone about the NBA play-in tournament, the Dallas Stars, and our very own university's women's tennis team. So stay with us.
Has the weight of stress and anxiety ever felt too heavy to overcome? Wish there was a safe place to confide in? Wish granted. At UNT, we offer counseling and testing services to students located on the 3rd floor of Chestnut Hall. UNT, we're here for you.
What does Talents do?
So I am the Vice President of External Relations for Talents. That means that I basically oversee all the external committees. Our external committees entail our Model A, it's a Mean Green Machine. So they bring it to football games especially, so every game it's kind of there, every home game. The Model A is like a symbol of UNC pride. And it's a big tradition that we are so lucky to uphold and maintain. When people look at it, they see it, and they're like, oh, that's the Mean Green Machine. There must be a game today or something to ramp up school spirit for basketball, softball, volleyball, any of those things. We have amazing teams, so we just want to show school spirit for them. Bonfire Committee, which is in charge of putting together the bonfire every year for homecoming. It's kind of just a whole semester-long process up until Build Week that we have to put together and oversee and make sure safety regulations are followed and risk management is taken care of. Cannon Crew, which oversees and takes care of the cannon. They fire it at games, they take it to special occasions.
Tonight, the NBA play-in tournament continues. In the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors take on the Chicago Bulls tonight at 6 p.m. The winner of that game will face the Miami Heat for the 8th seed. The Miami Heat lost to the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. The Atlanta Hawks were granted the 7th seed. In the Western Conference, the New Orleans Pelicans will take on the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 8:30 p.m. The winner of that game will face the Minnesota Timberwolves for the 8th seed. The Timberwolves lost to the Los Angeles Lakers last night in an overtime thriller. Unfortunately, our Dallas Mavericks did not make the play-in or the playoffs this year, but I have high hopes for next year. The official playoffs begin this Saturday, April 15th, so if you're a basketball fan, check it out. The Dallas Stars clinched a playoff spot last week. In the same game they clinched, Jason Robertson had another big scoring night, and he became the first Dallas player with a 100-point season. The Stars are currently second in the Central Division, and they even have a chance to finish the season first in the division. They are currently 80-45, which is 4 games behind the Colorado Avalanche. They play tonight against the St. Louis Blues, and they have a chance to extend their win streak to 5 games, so I know I'll be tuned in. Shout out to our University of North Texas women's tennis team. They were able to snap a 6-match losing streak and pick up a 6-1 victory over University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley on Sunday afternoon. This was our first game we played with a full lineup of players since February 26th. The win helped improve UNT's record to 10-9 overall, and they're 8-1 at home. Their next game will be Friday at the University of Houston at 11 a.m. That will be their last game before they host the CUSA tournament from April 20th to the 23rd right here in Denton. That's all I have for sports, guys. Back to you at the desk.
It has nothing to do with Easter or chocolate eggs. CNN's Ashley Sharp has the tail on this story.
At the Yuba City Police Department, the tulips are in full bloom. The sun is shining. Spring has sprung. Literally.
Come here, buddy.
So much so, you might think the Easter Bunny came early. But this is no candy-toting holiday rabbit. This is Percy, or Officer Hops.
This idea came as kind of a joke, and it's really caught on.
After all, he's a bunny with a job to do.
I just love how soft he is. I think that's what I love the most.
His official title, Wellness Officer with the Yuba City Police Department, an outlet for stress for officers and staff who see a lot of bad.
Being able to hold him, pet him, and just kind of step back from that situation for a minute, regroup is vital.
A push department-wide for a focus on mental health came in 2022, and along came this therapeutic thumper. It all started when Officer Ashley Carson found him abandoned while on a call.
I started to call him, and I said, "Here, bud." And he came running up to me, and he stood on his hind legs, and I picked him up.
She took him to the animal shelter, and after a few weeks with no family found, department staffer Chelsea McCready adopted him and gave Percy not just a home, but an office.
He just hangs out in here. He kind of free roams.
Percy comes to work with Chelsea every day, even working some shifts too when she's not here.
We're seeing the long-term benefits of it already in even just a short amount of time.
A cop with hops.
He's a great little furry friend.
A bunny that doesn't come once a year.
I go in and see him every chance I get.
But daily to do an important job.
Wow, I know I'll definitely feel safer with that bunny helping our cops feel happy and healthy.
That thing is so adorable. And the weird thing is, like, we might not even see canine dogs anymore.
Just
they
canine
might just
bunnies.
get canine bunnies everywhere. So, you know, that's something to look forward to. Looks cute.
Oh,
But
yeah. What? Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening here on North Texas Television.